All right, guys. How you guys doing?
Hey, what's up?
Hey, doing well.
All
How are
right.
you?
I'm getting along okay. Getting sick again. It seems to be a recurring theme, after quarantining, going out and
Yeah,
seeing people seems to be, well, I guess I'm allergic.
The
Um,
people.
allergic to people.
the
Who knew?
people.
Valid.
If you're not me, if you're not me, your family, apparently I'm sick of you already. Whatever.
I'm gonna use that
Um,
excuse.
there we
Like,
go.
sorry, no more family parties.
All right, everyone out there on the internet. This is Ready Set Data. We got Lee, database administrator. O'Grady. Am I pointing wrong? Are you correcting me?
I was. That's okay.
Wait. No, I think I'm right. I think Lee's up there.
No, I'm right there.
it's
Uh,
it's it's mirroring me. You are correct.
And this is
I
the
have the
type
feed
of
anyway,
over
high
we're
here.
here.
quality content that you
Oh,
expect to
this this
see.
is exactly what you come to see. This
Mhm.
train wreck. All right. So now I can fix this. Watch this. I'll move this over. There you go. So we got Lee Markham, DBA in the cloud. We've got O'Grady here, who actually knows his left from his right. Applaud you. I do not.
Sometimes.
Software engineer, Anthony Fortner. I'm a data engineer, among other annoying things. Um, so welcome everybody. We're trying to get more organized, but apparently all the organization we're doing outside of the show is causing us to, well, that's me,
Yeah,
to
that's
fail
all
at
right.
getting
We're getting there.
organized. We'll get our intros down. So those of you who watch YouTube and want to watch past episodes, we are streaming, we are posting to YouTube now. Thursday mornings, a previous video will go out. Um, I'm hoping to keep those scheduled. So this morning was the interviewing tips part one, and then part two will come out next Thursday, and then shortly after that, this one will come out. So we should have a steady stream of content there. So feel free though, if you miss out on some of the show or miss out on that last half and you want to come back, do it.
Yeah, for sure. And if you're watching those videos out on YouTube and you're appreciating what's on there, give it a like for us if you could. We would really appreciate that.
Yeah, like maybe
Strenuous has a
subscribe.
question already.
Cool.
What's up?
So he's saying this person watched most of the last video and do you set aside work time to do training that is, to say do a learning module? So what do you guys do with that usually?
So, I can jump on at least the way that I've dealt with this. Certain jobs will let you have training. So, I mean, if you can score one of those, that's, in my opinion, best. Anybody
Yeah.
that allows, we call it PDT, personal development time. Ours is every Friday, where we get half of the day to do training or whatever we want. As far as if your company doesn't do that, you can also, if you guys do an agile framework or use an agile method, then you can point story cards for certain things if it needs to be trained before a project starts. Let's say if it's like unique training that you haven't had before and it needs to be done for this project, you can usually make a case to say, hey, I have to do this. At least that's how mine goes. I don't know how you guys
Yeah.
think on that.
So O'Grady, like in that last scenario, let's say you're in your pre-work meeting. I know that's not what it's called, but I can't think of what it's called.
Stand
So
up,
anyway, okay,
the
yeah,
scrum.
we'll go with that. Before you actually start working in the sprint, I do know that word. So before you get into the sprint, you're going to have to do A, B, and C, but you don't know how to do B or C. So you're
Yeah.
saying you can build the training time in for doing B or C into like the pointing and the plan of what it takes to get B and C done.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
At
Yeah,
least
that
that's
makes
that's
sense.
how I've
I
done
like
in the
that.
past. Like if it's something that might not be a terribly hard task, but I know that I need to learn how to do it, I'm gonna point that as me also having to learn how to do it and then doing it.
Right.
But then the next time I point that similar task, I don't have to, do it as large because training only has to be baked in one time.
Yeah. So it is a great question. And um, so I typically just accept that I'm going to need to do it on my own. I don't wait for my employer to provide time for me to do training. If you get it, like Grady was saying, that's fantastic. But I would consider that a bonus gift if you get it. A lot of employers that I've been with, it's not really built in, and they kind of expect you to do it on your own time. That's unfortunate, but in my case, it's been the reality.
Mm-hmm.
I did recently schedule some time, put some time on my calendar for every Friday, 2 hours every Friday afternoon, because typically those are slow-ish, is the idea. But I tend to be a very busy person, and I get to training time, and I'm like, yeah, I don't have time for that, and I click it off, and then I just keep going with whatever it is I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing. So scheduling the time
Yeah.
doesn't during work hours doesn't really help me because I'm already engaged doing something I need to finish, and
Snooze is
that's
the
why it's
enemy.
really hard to do something like that during work hours. So I don't know, Anthony, what's been your experience with this topic?
All of the above. So I definitely have had employers who that's not baked in, right? You can't learn your on your own. And I agree with you, Lee, that you've got to put it in there yourself. Even if your employer gives you time, if you're going to be in IT, if you're going to be on the this technology side of things, you've got to keep learning. You have no there's no choice. The
Mm-hmm.
entire world, our entire world was different 10 years ago, drastically, and it was different 5 years ago.
Yeah,
So you just have to. So when I hear people complaining about their employer not giving them time to learn stuff, and it's unfair to, oh, I need to learn X, I need to learn Y, I don't have time for that. Well, you're gonna feel like you're drowning, and maybe that's the wrong job for you. Maybe you need to move on to something else. But it's just gonna keep happening. You have no choice. So, but if you have a great employer, usually that's baked in.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll you know I've also worked at employers where you had so many hours a week that you're supposed to do it, or they're just flexible, right? I have some time in my sprint, I'm going to learn a thing. And I've definitely at my current employer have seen them plan for learning in the sprint, where just like O'Grady said, hey, guess what, Angular 6 is happening, we're in Angular 5. And for those of you know front end development, if I'm way off my numbers, forgive me. I might be
I
up
think
in
we're
7
on
or 8 by
Angular
now.
7 now.
Oh, I wasn't that far off. Half expecting a 12 in there or something. I think they've skipped numbers before. Um, anyway, so they needed to, look into what the pain's going to be with that transition because they knew they needed to, and they baked that in um, through their agile-ish methodology. So, yeah. So to summarize, it's super important. If your company is not going to give you the time, it's super important for you to do it. It's unfortunately part of our career. I mean, those of us who enjoy learning, maybe don't say unfortunate, but life happens and it gets busy, and you've got to know that if you're going to stay active in this career and you want to keep and you can keep growing in your role, your responsibilities, or your, let's be honest, salary,
Mm-hmm.
then you're going to have to be digging yourself. If they don't give you a shovel, get one yourself.
yeah,
Yep, I
yeah.
agree. Yeah,
I
anything having
dropped
to
a
do with
post.
your relationship, your career. It's I don't see any reason why it should be. I mean, like we were saying, it's a positive if a company offers you the time, but it's not a
Yeah,
negative if you have to put in your own time. That's just part of being in the
yeah,
IT world or in a career in general, anything.
I mean, it's kind of our hustle, right? Like, I really feel like the intellectual aspect, and I would also argue some creativity, but that's off topic, is the major thing we're bringing to the table. Our
Mm-hmm.
ability to learn is the major thing. when they pay
Hmm.
us, they think they're paying us to complete a project. They think they're paying us to build something, but in a way, they're paying us to be on top of things, to not be more than 5 years behind,
Yeah.
because no one's keeping up. The guy, maybe the guy who's making Fast API is keeping up with Fast API, but the rest of us really aren't, right? So, yeah, they're paying us to keep up. And if you're lucky enough to work somewhere where they're very pro learning, I still want to double down.
Hmm.
If this is our hustle, so if you get 4 hours a week paid to learn, maybe you should be learning 8 hours a week, right?
Yep.
Just
Yeah.
because you got time on the clock doesn't mean you can't be learning outside of that. So that's our
100%.
hustle, boys and girls.
I agree.
Right. And I would also say no one's going to care about your career more than you. So don't expect, I mean, just don't expect your boss or whoever to be this massive cheerleader and like clear the way for you to get stuff done. If you get that in a boss, that's fantastic. Just don't count on it. Like you're a business of one, and you need to treat yourself that way and do what it takes, even outside of hours, to do what Anthony's talking about and be prepared and learn and be ready to do the things that your employer needs. So
Yeah, and
I think it
like
actually
Gunts
is
was
a
bringing up there, make sure that anything you are doing project wise, um, that it's not something that you have to give ownership to your company for.
yes. There are some things that you have to pay attention to for that as well, for sure.
Legalities and
Hmm.
Yeah, but they don't own what you learn. So if you do, yeah, personal projects are great, and like you said, there's some legal stuff you got to worry about there. But you know, the extra 4 hours spent outside of work, learning about Docker, learning about a new language, they don't own that. They're renting that from you.
yeah, this week
Yeah,
for me has been XMPP training because
Oh,
we're doing
really?
a new API. So it's been API design and XMPP training for notification pushes from Cisco, the
nice.
finesse servers on Cisco. So
That sounds is that exciting, or is that you're definitely earning your
it's new.
pay learning that stuff? It's new. Okay,
It's new. So
Yeah,
it's not boring. I'll give you that.
cool.
It's just
yeah,
it's a lot of drinking from the fire hose right now. So I have been utilizing off work time to learn what the hell we're doing at work.
yeah. And I feel like this question that came up in this topic is a pretty good transition into kind of what we were going to talk about tonight. The topic came from Anthony a bit to talk about, what did you accomplish, or what are some milestones from 2021, and what are you looking forward to in 2022? And Anthony wanted to talk about professional or personal milestones or accomplishments. So we'll talk about either topic, but certainly I think for the three of us on this call, and hopefully for others watching, it is more of an IT focused scenario where you have to a lot of times put in extra hours to make those milestones happen. And so, uh, what what's on your list, Anthony? What are some milestones? What are some things that you did this year? You're muted.
He unmuted himself once this year,
Hey, twice now. No.
twice. See,
Um. So anyway, yeah. So, a lot of big things have happened this year. Like most years, a lot of stuff happens. So I know we lost one of our data leaders earlier in the year. They moved on to a DBA position in the cloud. Um, anyway, so I left a big hole, and that had to be filled. And then another thing, the development DBA, which was me, I transitioned to a new role. That's when I got moved over to data engineer. So that was two holes to fill. So a second milestone for me was the fact that I was involved in the hiring process all of a sudden, right? We needed two more people on the data team, and there, we have an architect of the company that was leading that, but he needed someone with data experience to talk to people. So I talked to a lot of people. It was intimidating, but it's a good learning experience, and I had a lot of fun meeting some people and going to talk with them. I was surprised how different it was being on the other side. So, um, yeah, but some of them I actually had some really interesting conversations with, and I was surprised by that because usually when I'm on the other side, I've been a nervous wreck historically. Um, another big one is my company went through a restructure. I kind of alluded to this. I became a data engineer, totally switched teams, technically switched departments because in IT we have two departments. Uh, that was new under a whole new hierarchy. Um, Survived that. So let's see here. That this data engineering part, I've gone from software developer to database developer to DBA to a development DBA. So now data engineer, I'm getting an opportunity to really round everything out. So I think I've the pie that is data. I'm getting the opportunity to fill that in completely. So that's good. Let's see where that takes me next. Another big milestone tangent to me is my eldest son got accepted into UMSL. So
Nice.
that was really exciting. Yeah. So he's been killing it at SCA, and apparently he's going to hard mode now. So I look forward to seeing him succeed in that. Hopefully he can handle the stress. I think he will. I think he will.
So for people who aren't local that might be watching this later, what's UMSL and SCA?
SCA is St. Charles Community College. Sometimes I call it SCA. So I
Yeah.
asked a whole lot of C's.
It's St.
Yeah.
Charles County Community College.
Yep. Yeah, St. Charles County Community College, and then UMSL is what does UMSL stand for? St.
University of
Louis.
Missouri, St. Louis.
Thank you,
Yeah.
University of Missouri St. Louis. So it's one of the nice ones around here. So yeah, it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, that's a nice one. That's good.
And another big milestone started RSD, Ready Set Data, with you guys. So this has been a fun adventure.
Yes,
I guess we've lived the Zoom lifestyle for like 2 years thanks to quarantine. So
Yeah. This is starting to
might as
just feel
well.
like normal communication at this point. So
Yeah.
it kind of does. Yeah.
So that was my year of retrospect. Anybody else want to jump in?
Anthony's year-end wrap up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can go, and we'll give Grady some time to like jump in and figure out what he wants to talk about in terms of milestones and accomplishments. So I blogged more consistently. I don't have numbers and metrics, which is kind of my thing, but it was definitely a better year in terms of consistently getting out 1 to 2 posts most weeks. And so that was really good. And it was good just for attracting, obviously, people to the blog, leemarkham.com. So the more you post and the more you promote that, then the more people find you. So that was exciting, kind of see that upward trend happening.
You can just go directly to leemarkham.com and look through all of your postings, right?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Yeah.
I'm gonna
So
put
check that out.
I'm gonna put a command for that. Just do
Okay.
exclamation mark blog.
Yeah, so check that out. Earlier, I dropped a URL into here that was relevant to a question from a participant. So there's lots of good stuff in there. The relevance in that case for that particular post is turning us this question was I talked about in part of that blog about advancing your IT career was training and personal training. One of the things I did was personal training for probably 18 to 24 months on my own time, plus going to UMSL's training center. The University of Missouri St. Louis has a continuous education training center where they do classes. And so that's the relevance of that post I put out there for turning us this question. So I blog more consistently because Anthony and I are co-organizers of the St. Charles SQL Server Meetup. We host that once a month, and that's actually coming up on January 5th. We have to do some work to get presenters and that sort of thing to come talk to us and give us some ideas about things that we should learn for SQL Server. So if you're looking for SQL Server education, look at that as well. But related to that, we had a couple of speakers who couldn't make it for whatever reason. And by the second time it happened this year, this was for the July meeting. I was like, you know what? I'm not letting it happen again. We have to have a meeting this time. So I dug in, built a presentation, and gave it to our group. And then from there, gave it to a second SQL Server group, then presented at something called New Stars of Data. And that was a fantastic experience. Got to work with a mentor whose name is Leslie Andrews. She's pretty well known in the SQL Server community. She helped me with my slides and this presentation tips and that sort of thing. And so then was able, that New Stars of Data has kind of created some traction for me. So I was able to speak at one other group recently, the continuity, SQL Server continuity group, led by David Klee, and he has a co-organizer as well. And well, actually extended or related to that is for a 2022 goal. There's some speaking that's happening in March of this year, of next year, sorry, related to my beginning to present in 2021. So it was a nice milestone. It's like gaining traction. I really like it. Earlier in the year, before I changed jobs, which I'll talk about in a minute, earned a couple of Azure certs. It was Azure Fundamentals and then Azure Data Fundamentals. And so that was very informative, very educational. And I really hope to continue to be able to learn about Azure. As some of you know from maybe different or previous sessions or live streams, I'm at a company where it's all AWS, but we do, with the exception of now, we do have one customer that we've acquired that's on Azure, and I'm getting to work with that customer a little bit. Let's see what else. Yeah, I changed jobs. So back in March, it's been about, or May, I mean, been about 7 months. Changed jobs to a place that's 100% in the cloud. And so I've gone from 100% on-prem to 100% in the cloud. And that's been interesting, challenging, and frustrating. So yeah, more to come on that. Recently recorded my first video for what I hope is going to be my own YouTube channel, aside from what I do with Ready Set Data. So I have to do some editing on that and get that out there. And then, yeah, like Anthony mentioned, started Ready Set Data with you guys, and it's been a fun adventure as well, getting to do this and have conversations about tech and career development and all of that sort of stuff. So that's a quick rundown. 2021 for me in terms of accomplishments, milestones, things that happened, that sort of stuff.
Sounds like a big year.
Yep. And then anything, I guess I can give my quick rundown, then we can go into some things that we really want to look forward to over this next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so obviously mine, a big part of mine, same with Lee, is, new company, new career, or same career, different place. But I would say that would be the obviously largest part of my last year, even though it was only a couple months ago. Besides that, just getting a new job, getting an engineering title, that took a long time to work up to. So yeah, pretty proud of that one. Finally, holding that title. We had, I've done a lot of Angular. Anthony was just talking about Angular, but we've done a lot of Angular training and certifications over the past month or two. Really starting to get back into, I guess you can call it front end, but we're doing just front end that hits API right now. So it'll be a nice step into getting Angular working. But I think being able to say that I can work in an application with Angular comfortably now is, I feel like, a big step up for me.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
And then, Salon Phoenix, my wife's salon that we opened, just hit 1 year. So that's
nice.
That's a personal / professional development there,
Yeah.
because we get paid, so it's professional too. But yeah, she actually just got home. But it's been crazy opening a business during COVID, but people need haircuts, so Might as well find a place that isn't going to shut down because they can't pay their bills, which is unfortunately
And I'm
the places she came from, working from.
we're
So
shutting down. Yeah.
we're like, well, we'll start our own. Just winging it. Seemed to work out. So that just hit a year.
And I'm doubly amused because I looked it up and Google showed those up photos and
There I
in
am.
a looking haircut.
Yeah, my I think my beard in the first photo is like probably 8 inches shorter. So
Yeah.
there's reviews online, but yeah, it's been doing good though. So um, I also started making my own beard oils that she's selling in Salon. So that's kind of a thing that I didn't think was going to
Nice.
be a thing until everyone's like, "We need more beard oil. We're out." I'm like, "Ah, gotcha." So making a couple bucks off that too, which isn't bad. So
So what's
um,
that like? Making your own beard oil? That's
yeah,
interesting.
yeah. So
Wait,
it
so
started
let me make
out
sure.
because well, I have like really sensitive like facial skin, so depending on the oils I use and like shampoos
Is it the
and
same as making olive oil? I mean, so you take people's beards and then you cook them and you squeeze them,
yeah, you do that
and the oil
with
you
with
get, you
babies.
sell. Oh, okay.
That's, was that too dark?
We made a hard left.
No, yeah, it's well, no, I started out because of sensitive skin and I'm allergic to sulfates and like parabens or something. All the stuff they put in shampoo that's terrible for you just turns my skin like bright red. So
Oh
I
no.
started looking for natural products, and then I'm like, okay, these cost $9 million. So I just looked up what's in the products that makes them good, and then I just went
Okay,
and
that
bought
makes
that
sense.
stuff. So like it's mostly like jojoba oil or jojoba, argan oil, castor oils. It's just natural oils that they have in there. The problem is they'll add preservatives or something to help keep its shelf life longer, and
Yeah.
I don't know everything the reasoning why they add all this stuff, but my beard oil bottles that I make, they're about a couple ounces, but they don't last long enough to go bad. So
Probably an advantage you have over them is the fact that you don't have to make as much as they do in order to be in Walmart, for example,
exactly, yeah,
millions of units. And so they
yeah,
need something else in a warehouse for 6 months.
yeah. With mine, I make it. I probably make
Oh,
15 at a time, and then put them up at the salon, and then she tells me when she's down to like five, then I'll make like 15 more.
awesome.
But yeah, then just mix them up, and then I use essential oils to you know figure out the smell. But for the most part, it's a southern tobacco, kind of a vanilla tobacco flavor or smell. It might be that flavor, but I don't know what. Beer's
Let's
probably a
go with
lot of different
smell.
flavors. Yeah, we'll go with smell, scent. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, it's been fun. Like that kind of stuff, I feel like is it's nice to decompress your mind after work when you're
Oh
looking at
yeah.
a screen all day. When I'm like, oh, I can kind of do like a little chemistry here, and I'm mixing different scents and figuring out which one smells good. Like completely different from my normal day. So it
Yeah,
kind of
for
clears
sure.
the head a little bit. Um, and yeah, just overall, I think IT growth was my our career growth was my bold statement of the year because that's what I just really pushed for this year. So, well, yeah. It just happens that a lot of times when you grow professionally, you also tend to grow personally. Like in your house, you're getting more income, or you're less stressed.
Mhm.
All that
Yeah,
stuff definitely
Yeah.
adds to the quality of life. So,
yeah,
Yeah,
I
for
hear that.
sure.
and then obviously
Uh,
Ready Set Data. The This is a cool thing. I'm glad I got the invite here to be a part of it. I like having a place where you can just talk, be nerds, and yeah, it's a good time.
that's fun.
Cool.
And what do you
I,
guys?
I like
So
what
what are your plans for like? What's your goal for this next year? Like, if you can have like an overarching, I want like I hate New Year's resolutions because those are bullshit and no one ever does them and they last about 3 seconds. as soon as
Yeah.
you call it a New Year's resolution, it's doomed to fail. So what's your essence of what you want to do in the next year? I guess
Yeah.
Essence.
just like
So
the
I
Geo.
have I
the
have
LaCroix of what you want.
so I have a couple of things, but based on how Anthony responded to me in our Discord, the the private Discord that the three of us have, I realized that I have competing goals. So Anthony's like, yeah, you do.
Yeah.
So I have what's one, two, three, four. I've got five things for 2022 goals. One of those things is try not to overwork myself.
Oh,
The
okay.
other four
I'm
things
glad you
are
have
the
five of
opposite.
them. Yeah.
So I don't know. I've always been this person who's like full tilt. So if I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
If I'm not gonna do
Right.
it, then it's out the window. And as much as people have like tried to pull the reins back on that, it's just who I am. And
Hmm.
so I have to I mean, I'm more aware of it. I try to temper it more, but I also realize that that's just how I function, and that's okay. It's who I am. If people are super laid back or more casual or whatever, that's great. That's who you are. I wouldn't want you to change that unless you see a need to change it for some reason that it's hurting you personally or professionally. And so yeah, I mentioned earlier about milestone that helped me get something in 2022 as a goal. So I am scheduled to speak at the DBA virtual user group in March. And so that will be exciting.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to present something new. Yeah, thanks. I'm working on a presentation, but I need to get back to it, so I'm ready. Um, I do plan to get my own YouTube channel launched. That in of itself could be an all-consuming thing, so we'll see.
Yep.
I want to enhance the website, leemarkham.com. There's just some work that I want to do, and I purchased a class that's supposed to help with learning WordPress and that sort of stuff on over on Udemy. So I need to dive into that. I have a goal of speaking at a SQL Saturday in
Nice.
2022. So that will be exciting if I can make
Do,
that happen.
do you have one
And
picked
then
out?
there's one happening in Orlando in October, I believe. And so I just need to
Not a
kind
bad
of
choice.
yeah, it's a pretty good one. I don't know if it's going to be in person or they're going to try to do virtual. I don't know. I mean, if it's in person, I'm less likely to be able to go because that's kind of far,
Yeah.
but we'll see. It still might be worth it though even if I had to fly there to go do it, just to get it under my belt, just to get
Oh
the
yeah.
experience and the exposure and to be able to put it on my resume and LinkedIn and that sort of stuff. I think it would be a great thing to do,
I feel like that's a
even if
super
it ends up
cool
costing me a bunch of money.
step. Like I feel like that's a milestone or type step where you're like, I spoke at SQL Saturday. Like I feel like that's a
Yeah, for
wide
sure.
known thing. Like people would be able to identify with it. It's like, oh, so even yeah, like you said, even if you flew down there for a weekend and just did it, like I think if that's one of those things, if you have the opportunity and you're able, like don't miss it. Like that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And then I have try not to overwork myself.
I'm gonna do
So we'll
all
see
of
what
this
happens.
stuff, but try not to overwork myself. That sounds
I
about
know,
right.
right? I mean,
Yeah,
it's
that's
it's
right
just
on
kind of who I
par. I'm
am.
not. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. What
How
about
about
you
you,
guys?
Anthony? What do you got?
So one that's gonna be might be difficult for me is try to start a blog again. So I tried this before when Lee was kicking in the gear. I started to try to do the same thing, and I guess it's just harder for me to get to writing. Every time I attempted it, it was like it seemed like it took me 45 minutes to an hour to really engage and do anything. so I was like, oh, it's just not my thing. So I'm gonna give it another try. I'm gonna try to figure out a way to pull it off that works for me, or at least to get in the habit. Maybe do some small things. Um, so that's a goal of mine this year. They say you're not growing if you're not uncomfortable, and I'm uncomfortable when I write. So uh,
Yeah.
maybe I'll grow. Um, uh, and then another one is I had some project ideas, several that I was kind of trying to figure out what to work on. But I know I know I can only run it so many threads, right? So I had to narrow them down to one, and so I'm going to start working on a joint product with my with one of my sons. He's definitely into the developer side of things. He's definitely leaning hard towards software development, coding, all that stuff, right? I mean, he likes Minecraft, but in Minecraft, he's building a computer,
Hmm.
like a CPU. He has a CPU, and
Yeah, there's
he's building
some
up memory.
insane stuff
Yeah,
you can do in Minecraft with computing.
yeah. He's going to try to go all the way and build a computer all the way up that runs inside of Minecraft. So that's really cool.
That's
So
interesting.
definitely his route. So I think as part of one of his classes, me and him are going to build some stuff up, and that way, uh, from my point of view, I feels it feels almost irresponsible not to, because
Yeah.
I know the hardest part for me being initially very self taught. There was no one to ask questions to, and get that information. It was difficult. It was hard at first, and so hopefully this will give them a head start where I can say, this is how you find things. Stack Overflow.
Like
Uh, this
everything,
is, oh
actually.
yeah. But I mean, and then there's other little things too, like
Mhm.
that some tutorials and some ways you learn. There's like a ground. You're on the ground floor, and I would say that's okay. But sometimes learning some of this stuff, the people writing it are bringing it down to like the third level, and skipping from 0 to 3 is really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So um I'm hoping I can bring some of that table and get him flying on some of that stuff. Yeah, that's a big goal for me. And then the third item, I only have three. Again, there's only so many threads. The third item is this, already said data. So trying to figure out some little things. I already got my camera, so I'm no longer in the dark. Um, so I'll figure out some things and some strategies, get a routine going to try to help build this up, and we'll see where this takes us throughout the year of 2022.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are some great goals, and it's interesting. So we talked about how I'm full tilt on everything, and that I have four goals that oppose one of my goals. And then you listen to Anthony, and he makes a point that he only has three goals. So Anthony is much more laid back than I am. Not that you're not serious and like you're not focused and intent, you are, but you're also a lot more chill. I feel like, and realistic in knowing what you can accomplish. Whereas
I
I tend to like stack the deck against myself.
And then you're like,
And
why did I fail?
yeah,
Why did I
yeah,
only do 99 out of the 100 things? How dare it?
I agree with the realistic. I don't agree with the chill and late. I try to be. It's just I'd rather make a few goals and be able to reach
yeah,
them than have four trucks and try to drive all four of them down the highway. Imagine what that looks like. You jump out of one truck in the next one, and then go back to the first
yeah,
one. Oh, gotta get the third one. Some people use the spinning plates analogy. You need to know how many
sure.
plates you can spin.
I hate the
Um,
analogy because I can't spin one fucking plate. So every time someone says that, they're like, you can only spin so many plates. And they have like a picture of a guy with four and like two on his feet. I'm like, are you just
Who's this
trying to make me
guy?
feel bad about myself? Because I can't do one.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think
I,
Anthony, you do a great job of feeling or exuding what I call chill. Like
Yeah,
you relax, and I don't. As I was saying,
calm.
it's not like you're not
Yeah.
focused. It's just you exude more relaxation than
well,
I
thank
do,
you.
and you're welcome. And I think it's a great thing, and it helps balance
Mhm.
personalities like me. Reminds me to try not to overwork myself, but still get stuff done. So
Yeah.
Cool, cool.
Yeah,
What
mine,
grade are you doing this year? Yeah.
let's see, I'll jump in mine. So overall, it's going to be like, I guess my goal for 2022 is to get better at learning what I don't know I don't know. So, they
Unknown
say it, there's,
unknowns.
yes, there's different sections of, there's your knowns, your unknowns, and the things you don't know that you don't know. Those are the ones I want to learn to, or get better at identifying. Um, it's going to overall probably make imposter syndrome worse, because that's how it goes. The more of the puzzle that you see incomplete, the more a lot of times you kind of get down on yourself. But so that's another part of
Yeah.
mine that I wrote down, is continue work on imposter syndrome, and remind myself that we're all at different parts of our career.
Yeah.
But definitely trying to find those things, like with the XMPP training, or the Cisco thing I was talking about earlier. Um, that's something in my previous job I would have never thought of learning, because it wasn't really relevant to anything we did. And so once I started working on that stuff, I really realized there's a lot of things just in this very particular environment that I don't even know. So
Right.
it's been nice being able to fill my head with new knowledge, um, that isn't necessarily connected to the old knowledge. So it's a fresh new thing that I'm working on. So that's cool. But so 2022 is all going to be about trying to find those fresh things that I don't know but I should know or I want to know,
So is it
and
Right.
like
getting
a
better at it.
technology thing? Yeah. So you're
Yeah.
trying to learn some other
Yeah.
technologies that aren't necessarily tangential to what you're doing,
Yep.
just to get more pockets of knowledge. That's cool.
Well, like we're doing better work on API creations. Today we had or yesterday we had an API architecture meeting to set up our API and just make sure we have, all the boxes checked before we even start the work. And that's the kind of stuff that really, helps you realize that, the planning before the project sometimes is a lot more work than the project itself.
Well,
But
if you're
if
doing
done
things right,
correctly,
it
yeah,
is.
yeah,
Yes. 100%. And let me posit something, because
yep,
I just recently been given the opportunity to do a lot of that. Just recently been able to sit down and consistently, whenever there's a new thing to work on, there's a whole stretch of time, weeks that I can plan it out. Um, is that something that's relatively new to you too? That I'm talking about culture here, right?
yeah,
Is that a new culture for you, that you get to
it is.
actually plan it all out?
We're doing um, I guess you're gonna call it iteration zero, but like the very beginning of a new application
Yeah.
that we're making. That's going to be a good amount of time. So it's probably this year, most of this year. So this first iteration is literally just planning and deciding if we have enough to start the actual application work. So I'm just not as used to saying, hey, if we don't have this, we can't start it. And then the company being like, that makes sense. so
Yeah.
so during all this
Uh,
time, we're getting those questions
that's
out
your
there, like,
job.
we need this, we need this. This has to be connected.
Guess what, O'Grady? You're doing your job now.
It's amazing how that works. But
Yeah.
it's been awesome though. It's been awesome.
Sounds like it. That's very cool.
And then also I had on there just going to I really, I mean, obviously it depends on how everything works with COVID and opening back up and conferences, but I really want to get to more conferences. Virtual conferences are cool, but there's something about that, being there in person, being able to talk to someone or just hang out and
Yeah.
have drinks. It really brings a different personal level to it. So hopefully we can get some of those in this year. Maybe like a
Yeah.
dev up. I'm not sure if they've done an announcement this year um, for 2022 yet.
Dev up would
But
be great. A single Saturday. I was kind of hoping when Lee mentioned um, speaking, I was like, yeah, I wouldn't mind. I was hoping he was going to say there was going to be another one here in the STL, but
yeah, do they have any planned at this point?
Not that I know of, but through the past data community summit that Redgate hosted, I was connected to or talked to some people who are tightly connected to SQL Saturday. And so I'm hoping to stay in touch with them and even suggest to them, hey, what would it take to get one in St. Louis? What does
Yep.
that look like? Who did it last time? Could we talk to those people again? Is there something I can do to make it come to St. Louis?
Yeah,
If we
that'd be
so,
awesome. I'll say, yeah, let us know also if they need, a certain amount of people that say they'll go, or if they need certain sponsors. We can talk to our companies also and see if they want to throw something in.
yeah,
So
yeah, I should get on that. So
Let's do it.
thanks for
Yeah.
adding to my 2022 goals. So
We can get rid of the fourth one, the one you're not going to do anyway.
you're not gonna, yeah, just get rid of that last
Take
one.
it easy on
It'll-
yourself. Yeah, I mean,
Come on, let's be fair.
there you go. Cross it out. Right down.
But yeah, that would be cool. But yeah,
Yeah.
If anybody does have stuff like that needs a company to back them, let me know, because my company has been doing ridiculous stuff as far as trying to find more talent or to spread, good word as far as getting
Yeah.
some training out there and stuff. So
That's great. A lot of companies don't do anything like that, so it's good. That's
we
good to
have
hear.
we have an event coming up at Two Plumbers.
That's right. That's the arcade.
Yeah,
Arcade bar.
actually,
Arcade slash bar.
Anthony sent
That's
me the
not very far
event,
from my house.
and he's like, "Have you
Before
heard
you
of
knew about it.
this?" I was like, "Not yet," but they do so much stuff that I no clue. And then they sent me something just last week or not too long ago saying, "Hey, we have an event at Two Plumbers. It's for all of the engineers to, um, I guess you can kind of say like scout new talent for the engineering departments." And they're not doing it like an open house type of deal. It's if you have someone that is looking for a job, bring them to this event.
Mhm.
We'll talk to them and just see if there's something that they might like, and see if there's a
So
place they would fit.
is there only one Two Plumbers location?
It's the one off of 70 and First
Yeah,
Capital.
it's 94,
Yeah, yeah,
70 and 94. Okay, I didn't know if there was maybe another one, but
yeah.
that
It's
is
just a big
Yeah, I
arcade,
think it's just
pretty
the
much.
one.
Yeah.
okay.
We went there the other day for something. I don't know. We just stopped up there, but they had so many arcade games, and then they have tables in the middle if you want to do
Oh yeah,
like
it's a great place.
card games and stuff like that. But we will be doing a Street Fighter tournament,
Strenuous.
so I do need to catch up on my moves.
Yeah, so two shout outs. We got
Yes,
a recent
Strenuous.
follower, two
Sure.
for the Moric, and then Strenuous is asking if one of the plumbers dies, do they have to change their name? Wow.
No, they just
Well,
get another
let's hope
life.
that doesn't happen.
They just eat a one up, right? Just eat some mushrooms
No,
and
so
everything's great. I think
we
that's a
happen to-
bad way to say it.
Yeah, I don't think we have to worry about that though. I mean, the two plumbers they're referring to have been around a very long time.
True. Since the early 80s.
Yeah,
Mid-80s?
so it's a me, a Mario.
Yeah, really cool place. If you guys haven't gone up there, but
I have not gone. It's like again, it's so close to my house, but I'm not.
I like
don't
it because
tend to
there's no
go.
one ever there. Like maybe
Really?
maybe on weekends or something it's more busy, but every time I've gone up there, it's just like a couple people playing arcade games, and we go in and grab a
Are
beer.
they I'm guessing the quarter machines.
Yeah,
Almost every
they are.
game's 1 quarter. And then like the pinball machines, some of them are like 2 quarters, and I think some of them might even be $1. But most are like 1 or 2
Interesting.
quarters for every game. So we
Like, see what line
literally put
forms.
$5 and was up there for like 3 hours.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
there's some cool stuff that I mean,
yeah.
there are games up there. If I had the money back from when I was a kid that I poured into those video games, I'd be super rich right now.
You'd have like
So
750.
there's some good stuff to play at Two Plumbers.
Yeah,
Back
we
in my
beat
day.
Time Crisis while we were up there. So
Oh yeah,
and it
That's
took
the one
us
with the
like
pedals?
$1, which was amazing because like to
is that
start
the-
over the next game. Yeah, it's with the pedals, like you dodge behind.
they dodge it. Yeah,
But
okay,
it
cool.
used to be like in a normal arcade at like the movie theaters. it'd be like game over, insert your coins, and it has to be like $2 worth of coins to play again. This one's like 1 quarter back in the game. Freaking
Yeah,
awesome.
So yeah,
yeah,
but
it's a great place.
one of my way back in the back dreams, like if people say if you had billions of dollars, what would you do? And you do all these grand things. One of my small things is like my basically my dream job is to have an arcade.
Oh
Start
yeah.
out with that kind of stuff. There's an arcade. I don't know if it's still around, but it's in the St. Louis area because I've been there before with a couple of my kids a long time ago. You pay an entry fee and then the games are free.
Yep.
And I'm like, I want to do that. And then I also I want to fill halfway up with arcade games and the other half slowly make my own games.
Yeah.
That'd
But
be
yeah,
cool.
that would be cool. But yeah, I need to check that place out again. It's like right next
Yeah.
to my house. So
Not that
So
we
Anthony,
detracted there.
you said something earlier when you were talking about the project with your family member about the a lot of people when they put out information about things, let's say I'm going to make up some numbers. There's 10 floors or 10 levels, and they put out some information, and the height you have to reach goes from here to here,
Mm-hmm.
but you still have this gap that
yeah,
you have to jump to make their information useful and meaningful. And I think that's part of what blogging helps with in two ways, and presenting, because to you have to obviously, I mean, you have to fill that gap. And as you start writing, let's say you're going to do a blog post, and you realize as you reread it, you're like, there's a whole bunch of things in here that I didn't explain. I just assumed someone understood that.
Yep.
And so
yeah,
then you go in and you fill that in until you build up the blog more. And same thing with the presentation. You add in topics and things that I make certain assumptions about. So for example, in the presentation that I did, part of it was on high availability and disaster recovery. And I'm presenting to other data professionals. And my mentor for New Stars of Data, Leslie Andrews, she says to me, you're making an assumption about high availability and disaster recovery, like that other people know what that is
Yeah.
and what it means and why you want it and all of that stuff. So I added information that gets you from 0 to 3 in the level example that you talked about. And I'm really hoping that in my blogging and presenting and in our discussion with Ready Set Data, that we can recognize and fill in those gaps so people don't have to jump as high to get to the next level. And they don't have to do what I call scratch and claw. It's the scratch and claw method for
Oh yeah.
information.
or
When,
or what I prefer, rip and tear.
Rip and tear.
yeah, yeah,
You say I'm chill, but when I'm working on something, I tend to rip and tear. It's done, and I hope everyone understands that reference. Only
yeah,
what's the meme? Only real. Oh, what is it? Only not only real people.
The
Never
real
mind.
gamers. I don't know.
Maybe I guess we're looking for something
Rip
else,
and
but
tear.
um, yeah. So I think Lee, one of the benefits of the format we're doing here, this kind of casual conversation where we have subjects we talk about, and then we see although my second monitor went out, so I actually can't see the chat anymore.
Yeah.
But the we can see the chat and we can see if people can talk to us. That some of that can be like there'll be things that we don't realize should be on 4.1. We have them 4.3, and people can ask us like,
Mhm.
what the hell's that? So I'm
yeah,
hoping that our format really helps with that.
yeah, for sure. I mean, everybody, I think O'Grady, you said this when you were talking about something earlier in some of your goals and things that you plan to do. I think in reference to learning what you don't know or becoming aware of the things that
Yep.
you don't know that you need to know is everybody starts somewhere. And there's a big tendency, I feel like, well, two tendencies. A, to forget that you started somewhere knowing nothing.
Started from the bottom.
And yeah, and then two, um, you when you forget that you've started from nothing, then sometimes you treat people badly for asking what
Yeah.
you feel like are dumb questions.
Yes.
And
Now there are
I
dumb
think that
questions. Don't let people tell you they're not. But I understand where you're coming from.
how to turn on your computer. Okay, maybe that's a dumb question. Um,
Well,
but
I mean,
yeah,
I've
you
been confused by that once or twice, but that's a different conversation for a different time.
um, but yeah, I mean, everybody starts somewhere. So if you're in
Yeah.
the chat or you're watching this later, you're going to comment on YouTube, and you're think, well, that's a dumb question. You know, put it out there. You have to ask someone, or you're never going to learn. You're not going to
Yeah.
know what that is that you want to ask about.
And
And if you,
I will rephrase what I'm saying about being dumb questions. In IT, if it's related to IT, like your actual career, your job, there are no actual dumb questions. I will.
okay, that makes
I don't
sense.
want to scare anybody from asking questions, but I will
Sure,
say there are
sure.
dumb questions out there. Just if they are IT related or career related, then they are not dumb because they can, you know, they may not be upfront. So,
Yeah,
but continue.
no,
So,
that's good. And so I guess one of the two of you, just put our Twitter accounts in the
Mhm.
chat. If you don't want to put a comment on the YouTube video because that's a little public, with a question, hit us up, direct message on
Mhm.
Twitter. Go to
Or
our Discord
yeah,
and ask a question in there. That's a little more private, but yeah, we all start somewhere. We all have some milestones and accomplishments that are in our past, and we all have stuff that we're reaching toward.
yeah.
And so,
I think all
falling
three of
forward.
us have more ahead of us than we have behind us. So it'll be
It's
interesting
always the case.
to see where we're going to be. A year from now. It's nice that we have documentation here saying, well, here's what you said you want to do this year.
yeah, yeah,
So, a couple of different things I want to bring together real quick. So,
Yeah.
we already mentioned, Great O'Grady was talking about unknowns, and he also just said, we have a lot more ahead of us and behind us. So, I want you to take one of your a little homework assignment. Get a piece of paper, normal size piece of paper,
Find your own
and put it
cliche
down.
and use it.
Yeah, now put a piece of paper down, and then get a marker or a pen, whatever works better, and get some coins, pennies, dimes, quarters. Take the one you got because you have imposter syndrome and say that's you. Okay. And take the quarter. That is the biggest expert you know at your company.
Okay.
So take your piece of paper, you put the penny down or your dime, and you trace it. So you just drew a map.
Okay.
There's three things on that map. There's the known knowns. It's everything in that circle. That's what you know.
Yeah.
There is a line. That is your known unknowns. That's the things you realize you don't know.
Okay.
That's the next step in your journey. Everything else in that piece of paper is unknown unknowns. There's a vast sea of knowledge you don't know. So that's how I look at it. That's actually how I battle the imposter syndrome, because I realize that that's true for everybody.
Yeah.
Now you take your expert. He's the quarter, right? You put it on that same spot. You draw a circle around it. So yeah, he knows. You'll see that the first line you drew, your known unknowns, the things you know you don't realize. He has all that.
Yeah.
And that's why you feel like you're so far behind. But then you look at his line's bigger. I mean, if you're any good at math, which I'm not, so I just happen to know that.
It will
His
go
line
around
is
your
bigger.
line.
Yeah, he actually knows, he
Yeah.
realizes that he doesn't know more than you know, that you
Mhm.
you don't know. Oh my gosh, it's got harder all of a sudden. Hard all of a sudden. But
words are hard.
words are hard. So you'll see, you can visualize he doesn't have that much less, or she doesn't have that much
Yeah.
less
Yeah.
unknowns. It's just he just happens to know all the things
Mhm.
that you are wanting to learn next, which hopefully that person can be a mentor. And then you get out your half dollar, you put that down, and that's your celebrity, the person
Yeah.
on YouTube you watch all the time.
I was gonna say,
So,
even if
well,
you
in
doubled
the
that
field.
quarter and put two quarters down and be like, this person's stellar, it's still, a good visual representation of how much is out there that we don't know. We don't know.
Yeah, 100%. So that's your homework assignment, people.
But maybe
Yeah,
Anthony will do a quick video explaining
that would be great.
with like an overhead view of the paper, and you can like do the circles and the coins.
That's a great idea.
I think
I love it.
I like that analogy, and I think you can
Let's
do
do it.
a good one on
So
that.
your homework assignment just became a homework assignment for
Yeah.
you.
So now you have a
So
homework assignment.
my to get an A, I have to do the whole thing without getting confused with known, unknown.
You have to
unknown,
get at
unknowns.
least 3 likes on your video.
Oh, now you made it hard. So I got
Well,
Lee, O'Grady, and my mom.
there you go. You got your 3 likes. Now you just
Assuming
need to make
that
the video.
we would all like it. I don't know.
And then when we're talking about when we're having this conversation this time next year, one of your milestones will be the video that you made
Video.
explaining.
Yeah,
Uh,
I got hot cocoa dropped off.
Nice. I got
Feeling
money dropped
nice.
off. But my wife just came in and handed me a bunch of cash, so I'll trade you. I like hot cocoa.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Hey, while I felt a little bit of a pause there, anybody hear about Tesla? It recalled like almost $500,000 of their Model 3 and S's.
no,
hear
what's
about
that
that?
about?
Breaking news, just in. Hold on, we're getting a report right now. Okay. So yeah, apparently their trunk, there's a backup camera, and their trunk had a high incidence rate of messing up the backup camera. And so if that
Wait, is
obviously
that the one
happened,
where people were closing it with one hand and it would mess it up?
I don't know the deets. That's
Because I saw
interesting.
someone that had the Tesla that had like a video. I don't know if it was related, but they were closing the trunk to their Tesla, and like you have to close it with 2 hands, because if you close with one in the middle, it can mess it up. Which I was like, I don't think I'd want that car.
I don't think your
Yeah.
integration testing was very good with that.
Yeah, they're like, it works fine as long as you close it like this.
But I mean, so they're
We've
recalling
all
it,
made those.
and yeah, they're recalling it. They're going to make it better. So I guess it's overall a good thing. It's
Yeah,
not like those
that's good.
companies that are trying to hide it. So they're very much they have a very strong incentive to make sure that their car is
yeah.
safe. So even if you do a thing really wrong and messes up the camera, they're just going to recall it and can fix it.
So what you're saying is there's probably a stock dip right now on Tesla.
So what you're saying is there's a fire sale and you should buy your lemons cheap before you make lemonade.
I'm curious what Tesla's trading for right now because of that, or if it's actually made a
Affecting
difference.
anything?
Yeah, just curious.
I mean, it could have affected their prices, I guess. That would make sense, especially a recall that's that large.
Yeah, here we
I
go.
would say,
Tesla is trading at $1,066 a share. 1 month ago, they were trading at 1,160, so they're down 8% over a month.
Oh, what percent?
8% down.
Huh.
So I
But
mean,
I
I
have
don't
a-
know if that
I have
makes
a
a difference
theory that
because they're still up
I think Elon
58%
makes-
this year.
Elon smokes a joint on a podcast or makes a comment on Twitter has more of an effect on Tesla
Oh, yeah.
stock than anything else.
Yeah, probably. That's true.
Or Dogecoin, or Shiba
Say-
Inu,
yeah.
or
Yeah, we need to get him to mention our little talk.
Yeah.
here. How do we do that?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think you just have to call him. I can just call him, right? And then I'll just tell him.
Elon Musk.
Yeah.
You're gonna
He has them on speed dial, of course. Yeah. Oh, Grady, call him
Yeah.
up.
Old
Get him on
boy.
here.
I'd be impressed.
Yeah, I'm impressed.
Yeah.
It's like Alvin Tusk. Like, yeah, off-brand Elon Musk.
Hey, shout out. Elon is a self-taught programmer. Strenuous fool. Shared that.
Is he? Yeah, he's a God, he's a freaking genius. Like a lot of his.
It's the front. Oh, I'm behind. It's my loss of monitor. I got it back now.
The front. Yeah.
The front. It's a front trunk. It's the front.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I read that it was the trunk, so I assumed it was in the back. I'm not in that pay grade yet. I don't own a Tesla, so the trunk's in the front. I didn't know that.
It's like a beetle.
Yeah, back in the day,
the
all
old
those
bugs.
The old Volkswagen
Mm-hmm.
bus also was like that. It's a little van.
Oh, was it?
You seen one of those?
Those were
I think it
great.
was a cool. It was my
Like the
grandfather.
rounded kind of
Yeah,
sides.
my,
Yeah.
my grandfather as a had a foreign car shop. He kind of still does, even though he's retired. But like he gets all these weird cars because some of the people he knows, I guess, the people he's worked for in the past would send him cars. So I'd randomly see the coolest things in there, including one of those vans, like the old Volkswagen vans.
Nice.
So the
Oh,
things that
it did say trunk
flashed
and
in
then
my
file.
head are interesting. Grady, when you said like the old Beetle, the first thing that flashed through my head was Herbie.
Yeah. Love bug.
And earlier, I don't remember you made some kind of reference about time. One of you did, and then I thought of Star Trek about the guy who said, "Time is the fire in which we burn."
Time is just a
In the
construct.
Generations movie. Well, I
Very
don't know.
true. Very true. Even their emails had bad QC. Man, I feel that. I feel that, Dons. But yeah, so I think overall, it sounds like we've all had pretty encouraging previous years. So that's always nice to be in a better position that we were than we were 1 year ago from now. Or yeah, 1 year ago from now. Um, I would say I'm I don't know. I couldn't even give a percentage on how much of a better position I feel I am in this December compared to last December. So
Yeah,
very grateful for that. And it's also
I
a
have
lot of
to.
hard work. So let me stop my imposter syndrome before I just thank everybody for giving me opportunities. I
You
also
had
earned some of that shit.
the ability and the gumption to
Yeah,
actually take that on, and yeah,
there you go.
I I feel the same way. I feel like very early in this year, things got really hard, and then um, and that's following up a year that was already really hard with between COVID and some
Mhm.
other and a bunch of other issues, and then so like I said, this year got hard, and then as I survived, and then we filled in the holes, and then I started feeling like I was thriving again. I came out the better for it. That's they
Mhm.
say growth is pain. I felt the pain, and things are looking up. So I look forward to next year, and hopefully the growing isn't as painful next year, and
Yeah,
rock it.
I think the three of us are really fortunate. We've had good years. I mean, we had some painful things, obviously, just everyone has, I think.
Well,
But
yeah.
to
It's a good
to
year
lesser,
of 2021 is kind of like a wishy-washy statement compared to everybody else. But I think we did very well. Yes, we'll continue.
yeah. I mean, there are a lot of people who had
2020, the sequel.
Right.
much worse years for
Mm-hmm.
personal and professional reasons. Some people
Yeah,
lost their jobs and they're like,
Yeah.
okay, now what do I do? Some people, other things. I don't want this to become negative, but
Oh yeah.
the point of bringing that up is to say I can become, I guess, negative. Because I'm that full tilt person that I talked about earlier, and I look at the one thing I didn't get done.
Yeah.
To mention, I referenced something that O'Grady said earlier.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're that kind of person, then um, maybe write down your accomplishments, kind of like what we do when we prep, or at least some of us do. I think on the call here in Ready Set Data, like I wrote down my accomplishments and my milestones from 2021, and then I looked at the goals that I had, and I think that for me, seeing that I actually had some accomplishments really helps me.
Oh yeah.
When I'm feeling like, man, I haven't made enough progress. I had 100 things on my list and I missed one. Looking at the things I accomplished really helps me. Like, you know what? I didn't get all the things I wanted, but look at what I did accomplish. There's some good stuff on here. And so sometimes you just need to see it. So I would encourage you, if you tend to get down on yourself, you feel like, oh, I haven't done anything or whatever, or it's been a bad year, sit down with a piece of paper and your favorite writing instrument, pen or pencil, whatever, and put down some
Bottle
good
of
things that
whiskey,
happened. Yeah, maybe
make it a
that
night.
too.
Yep.
That
Agreed, Dunks.
that is one thing that I used to do when we all worked together. I don't know if you guys noticed it or not, because it was more just for me. But we used to do kudos all the time. At the end of a sprint, you do kudos.
Oh
Everybody
yeah.
would write down on a sticky note, like, hey Anthony, thanks a lot for the database help that we had, blah blah, whatever we put, and then we give it to each other, and it's a tactile sticky note that you can actually put on a wall. And in my office, I had every one I've ever gotten next to my
Nice.
desk on a wall, and it was like enough to cover a good portion of the wall. So anytime I started kind of feeling like, man, I haven't done like shit lately, I'd look over and be like, nope, I have. They told me so. So kind of
Yeah.
gives you that little like um, extra energy to remind yourself that you are, accomplishing things, even if it's not 100 out of 100. It's 99 out of 100, and you're like, I should accept that, and that's okay.
So
But I am gonna bring
I
that
did
up
this.
to my team and maybe start figuring out a tactile kudos.
It's a great idea.
It's difficult to do when it's full work from home. So,
Sticky note to the camera. Oh no, where'd we go?
well, like they have the OneNote programs, and they have, I think Windows has a built-in notepad now, like sticky
Yeah.
notes. But something that would be shareable. I don't know. Maybe I'll look into that. A good
So
system.
at City, I had the same strategy. I kept all the little awards and the little notes
Mhm.
people gave me. I pinned them to the wall, and I got a wall cover, and it's a good reminder. The kudos you're talking about, I kind of do that, but then I tend to put them on notebooks instead of
Yeah.
books, like
Yeah.
wherever I'm writing stuff, because those don't go away right away. I tend to hold on to those. And so what happens is when I'm looking for something,
Mm.
there's that surprise page full of kudos, right?
And you're like, oh,
Nice.
That's kind of just pops up out of nowhere. Because usually when you're flipping through your book looking for stuff,
mhm.
it's probably a good time for you to realize, flip that page. It says, "Don't
slow
worry, you
down
got
for a
this."
second and read this kudos. Yeah.
Yeah, 3 weeks before you got this page full of kudos, you were doing the same thing you are right now.
Mhm.
You're struggling and like, oh, what's the answer? I don't know. And
Yeah.
so
So there's a couple of comments in the chat I wanted to bring into our conversation. So Dunce is
cool.
saying, remember to keep track of your accomplishments over the year is an important skill I don't have.
Yeah.
And Strenuous has an interesting idea. Maybe everybody should put their 2022 list in the Discord, and then we can have like quarterly accountability or something like that to help nudge things forward.
That could be fun. Hey, Strenuous, this is your quarterly one-on-one. I
Um,
see you have a few bullet points here you haven't crossed off.
Strenuous
What's
was a
the
Marine too,
situation?
so cut him a
Yeah.
break.
So you're saying I'm not being serious enough.
I'm saying that
I get a little
sometimes
bit louder.
numbers and this is not the.
Yeah, I like the idea that we could do something. I mean, maybe we just brainstorm about it, brainstorm with people in the Discord. It could be interesting. But so I want to talk a little bit about Dunce's comment initially. And my initial thought is this only applies, what I'm about to say only applies like at a new job, but it doesn't have to. But it's something that popped into my head. So something that helped me with this is when I start a new job, I typically early on will create a Word doc and just call it accomplishments.
Mhm.
And every time I have an accomplishment, even if it's something small, I will try to get it into that Word doc. And this does two things. First of all, when you're in a new job and there's like a million things flying at you, it can feel like you're not getting anything done. And you can look at that and go, yeah, I am getting some stuff done, even though I'm drinking from the fire hose because I don't know anything about this environment. I barely know the people, and etc. You can look at that and get some encouragement. And the other thing it does is that it can be a tool. If your company does 90-day reviews, it can be a tool for you to say, to bring to that 90-day review and say, these are the things I did. If there's any question or concern about the level of my performance or what I've accomplished here in 90 days, let me show you this Word doc of the stuff I did. And I think that could be a good way to get yourself into the habit of and building that skill of keeping track of what you have accomplished. And it doesn't have to be at the beginning. Like, I don't know how long you've been at your current job, Dunce, but you can start one right now and say, here's some stuff I did in the last 3 months. You don't even have to try to think about the whole year. Just what I do in the last 3 months, and then just keep that going forward.
I will say that it's easier for me to say quarterly, or to keep track of accomplishments quarterly, because as you guys know, we do so many projects that by the time 2 quarters roll through, my brain doesn't remember January. So
I don't know what I did last week. It's so hard to remember.
yeah. So writing those down as you go, it like you're saying, that is really nice for especially reviews. With ours, I don't know how they're conducting everybody's reviews. Everybody's different, but with ours, they have, what is your personal goal for this? We do 2-week reviews and then quarterly, but they say, what's a personal goal for now until the next time we talk? What's a professional goal from now until the next time we talk? And a lot of times, excuse me, a lot of times I'm so busy working that I don't come up with goals. And then I'm like, I don't have a goal. So I'm sitting in the meeting, like having to come up with a goal for the next meeting. And I'm like, I've just been working. Like, that's my goal, is to work. But
yeah,
I think as you're with a company longer, it gets a little easier to sort that out. But I'm still in the drinking from the fire hose stage. So
yeah.
I agree. I'm going to start working out again too.
I actually do. I was kind of joking in the chat, fitness wise, I need to start working on something because, and I said, like the spirit guide said, keep on working on cores and legs. But yeah, I definitely
Spirit
have
does
a goal.
high impact interval training.
Hits.
Yeah, hit training.
Yeah, cool. Goal survive. No, thrive. Okay, sorry.
The minimum is to survive. The goal is to thrive.
Right. So yeah, just the moment is survive. The goal is to thrive. So okay, Lee, I wanna you mentioned a couple things several times here. I want if it's okay, I'll double down on it. You're talking about, you like to list out your 100 things, and you made a comment about me listing off 3. It's actually an okay strategy to make huge lists, but one of the things you have to I feel you have to do when you make lists that long is you have to be very okay. I'm gonna use Gary Vee. Do you guys know who Gary Vee is? His analogy.
No, I don't know who that is.
Look him up. You can look him on LinkedIn,
Sure.
or you can't, and I can bring it up randomly. He's an entrepreneur. He has several companies. He has a lot of marketing. He's really good about moving his arms when he talks and makes power statements. But I really love his content. But one of the things he talks about all the time, you see all the time, is one of the things that he says makes him successful is he is 100% okay with plates breaking. He will add more and more plates and spin those plates. As O'Grady said, right? Oh, you saw a guy spinning 4. He'll spin 9, 10, 11. 4 of them will fall. And he's 100% fine with that because the other ones were successful businesses he started, right? Or whatever his analogy was leading to. I really liked that. So if your natural tendency, Lee, is to run that many threads, if you want to do something and that you can't do one thing at a time in your mind, you have to do a matrix thought. You want to do these things. You have this big square of ideas.
Yeah.
Do it, but embrace the fact that you're going to get half of them done, or you're going to get a quarter of them done, or whatever, right? Know that, hey, I'm putting these 7 things down, and I'm going to kick all of them in the butt, and then we're going to see which one I cross off. And then at the end, like we've already said here, you look at your list and go, I've crossed some of these off. I did good.
Yeah.
Like you
Right.
just you have to have that mindset. Now, me on the other hand, um, I'm more compensating with the fact that I could get 99 things started and all of them could be 20% done, and then I have nothing crossed off, right? So I go, okay, countering the ADHD
Yeah.
reaction to things, I've got to say, yeah, I have. So I also have 9, 10, 11 things that I would like to get done this year, right? But I'm putting these three down. So when I'm lost at sea and I'm adrift, I need to grab onto something, I have this short list, right? That's why, even though I have a lot of good ideas and things I want to work on, I had to whittle that list down. And then, so my one big project for this year that I want to make sure happens is I'm the build something with my son. I'm gonna get him going on something. So, um, but that's just me. I want to spin two plates and then make sure those two plates get attention.
Yeah, I like that thought. This is a conversation you and I have had many times about various things, and I've also talked to a mutual friend of ours in our private Slack about this issue. And so recently, I actually uh, this side over here, I have a whiteboard next to me, and it is, I don't know, 3 by 4. I mean, it's a pretty big whiteboard,
Yeah.
and I had it completely covered in goals, things I wanted to do. And that started out fine, but the longer the stuff sat there, the more stressed I became. And I was crossing some stuff off. So recently, I actually transferred. This is kind of funny because I actually made a note to myself about this. Anyway, I
I made a
recently
goal to
transferred.
transfer my goals.
Well, I did, and I did transfer the stuff. I got
Nice.
rid of the whiteboard. Like most of the stuff, like to dos,
Yeah.
were moved into a OneNote, or not a OneNote, tasks in my Office 365.
Okay. Yeah.
Excuse me, Microsoft 365. Anyway, and it felt really good because I could then create this is my backlog of stuff. This is the stuff that's in progress. And oh, look, I have more stuff in the done column than I realized. And that
Yeah.
helped me. But it's also about prioritizing. It's figuring out from the stuff that's in the backlog, like what are the most important things that I want to do. I could do or try to do 50 things, but those 50 things will only be partially done. What do
Yeah.
I Are there 3 or 4 that I want to focus on? So that's good, and I need to remind myself to go back to that tasks list and focus and ask myself that question. So as I look at my 2022 goals, one of them really isn't a goal. It's something I'm already scheduled to do, which is to speak at that virtual user group in March.
Yeah.
The only goals, well, we added one during the call, but I have get my own YouTube channel launch, enhanceleemarkham.com, speak at Sequel Saturday. So if I just focus on those 3 things and making those happen, that could help minimize the stress about the number of plates I have spinning and whether they're going to fall and break or not. To use your analogy, but um, yeah, I've had to come to grips with I can't do all the things. I don't
Yeah.
have enough
Right.
time.
Can't do
I don't
everything.
have every. I want to say this carefully. Everybody has things they're good at and things they're okay at and things that they're not very good at. And you have to figure out where you're going to put your energy. And so, because of those 3 things that I think exist with most people, you can't do all the things. Like, I think it's a
Mhm.
lie in some ways that we tell, this is going to stray into controversial, that we tell our kids, you can accomplish anything you want. Well,
You can't.
uh, not really. Like, I want to believe that, and it's a way to encourage children, but it's like everybody has strengths and everybody has
Mhm.
weaknesses. I'm not going to become a superstar developer. That is not within my reach. I'm good at other stuff. So I'm going to put more eggs in that basket. So I like where you're going. I appreciate the question. Yeah. And I need to become more comfortable with, it's okay if if I don't meet my goals. It's okay if I
Yeah.
only have 3 goals or however many that are reasonable.
Oh yeah, if you have
The rest
one
of the stuff
goal,
can sit in the backlog.
yeah.
What's
Yeah.
that?
I said even if you have one goal, that's all that really matters at a time. If you're that type of person that wants to focus on one thing at a time. And Strenuous said, put some agile in it, and might be said as a joke, but I definitely have Trello boards for many aspects of my life. My
Yeah, I'm a fan as
redoing my
well.
basement right now, it's on a Trello board, picking out flooring, everything that I have to do,
Yeah, sure.
paint colors, all that stuff. And then inside the Trello board, I have links to all the different paint colors and the floor plans and the inspector codes and all that stuff. The agile definitely keeps me from going insane at certain times due to over stress of too many goals. Because then at least I can look at a goal like finish my basement, and I know exactly where I stand on it. As opposed to if I just had it sitting out there, finish my basement, and I'm like, I don't know, they're like halfway done. That makes it stressful
Yeah.
for me.
It also
The
helps with
unknowns.
fight against the over allocation of attention.
Yep.
Yeah. It helps ease your mental stress because you don't have to try to keep track of all the big projects I have in progress. Where am I in those projects and what have I not done that's important? That doesn't have to all live in here. There's only
Oh
just like
yeah.
a computer, the human brain can only process so much at any one time. So I think it helps.
Strenuous, my
Spirit
basement
says
is going to be freaking awesome. I will post pictures in Discord when it's finished, but
we expect nothing less.
it's going to be there will be a bar. There will be a dual shooting basketball hoop arcade game.
Nice.
Um, there's going to be a projector that's I think 11-foot wide screen. Yeah,
Wow,
my
cool.
new office that I'm currently sitting in is my old office. My new office will be down there, and this will once again be a guest bedroom slash. I think my wife wants to turn into a crafting room. I don't know,
Yeah.
but yes, I will definitely put up pictures, and it's gonna be super man cavey.
Cool.
It's gonna be awesome.
Spirit Guide says sub goal acquire more shiplap. This is when I
Probably
no
talking
longer
about my
keep
house.
up. Shiplap?
Shiplap is
Okay.
something it's wood that you put on the wall.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's like the vertical. Well, sometimes you do horizontal, but usually vertical planks that overlap each other, or
oh,
stick
really?
tongue and groove a lot of time into each other. But
Oh,
it's very big on decorating shows and like Chip and Joanna and all them, shiplap
Yeah.
everything. I have it above my fireplace currently, and
hmm.
other
Google
places.
help me out.
There you go.
Now I can see what. Now I literally can see what you're saying.
It's a very modern farmhouse type decor, which in the Midwest is like every house. So
Stringer's full posits an idea. Nice. Sounds like we need a in-person ready set data bar time when the basement is finished. I agree. I agree.
that can be arranged. Oh, I also have a new dartboard that needs to be put up. It's a dartboard that has like the cabinet around it all nice and like the place to hold
That's
the
cool.
darts, and
Yeah.
a real one, not electric one, because electric are like probably a reason I've had heart palpitations in the past because they piss me off so much. It's like why make an electric dart, but like only put I don't know what 10 holes in the bullseye. So if you hit anywhere in between those holes, it doesn't count. I'm like, still count. What? It should count. Hit the damn
Yeah, it
bullseye.
should. I agree.
Anyway, get started on my issues with dartboards. But yeah, well, I mean that's definitely something we can hit up for anybody around St. Louis area. I know you guys. A lot of people are from all over the country here, but as always, I always say I'm down to drink with whoever in the country. So, you know
sounds
me.
like Sounds like someone lost a game to an airman is what I see in chat.
With what? Maybe I was talking and lost the reference to that. Airman as
I
an
think
Air
it's talking about
Force.
your darts. I think it's about the darts. You lost a dart game to airman, and that's why you're complaining.
Ah. I'm pretty good at darts. It's you're in an eggplant suit, 2 rum and cokes, and 1 Jaeger bomb, playing with the German dudes and 1 girl. I don't think I've been in that particular situation. Similar
Yeah, I'm thinking
situation
about.
minus the eggplant suit. In
Yeah, I'm
Germany.
thinking about Miles O'Brien and Julian Bashir on Deep Space Nine.
Okay, so yeah, agreed. Because as soon as you mentioned darts, it's the first thing I went to.
Yeah,
You
playing
should
the
watch some
darts.
Deep Space Nine.
You said you are.
I think that's what I'll go do over this weekend. Catch up on rewatching Deep Space Nine.
And then I love when he finds out that Julian was technically genetically engineered. So he goes, "No, you stand back there."
Yeah. That's great. I love it.
His parents paid someone to make him smarter and have perfect hand-eye coordination. So it's like, "You stand back there. We're making this fair." So, oh, it's a good show.
Yeah, it's a good show.
We're getting
Well, we
about
appreciate.
yeah, so we're getting about that time. Do we want to have some final closings here? Maybe discuss if we have any ideas for next week's show. Any kind of hints?
Who's his next week?
Probably me. So as I'm asking, if it's me, I have 0 hints, no surprises.
So next week,
I mean, all surprises.
Data O'Grady's going to bring to the table some interior decorating tips. He's going to show us around his this old house redecoration of the
I'll do that
man cave.
once the man cave is done. It'll be done in February, so it's a whole complete build. Once that's done, then I'll do a tour. I'll do a live tour.
Yeah.
I'll figure out how to do that. I don't exactly know how I would go about that walking around my house. I guess I can bring my laptop.
You could film it on your phone.
You could pre-record it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know there's a way
I can get
you can
into
get
the
audio
call on my phone.
Yeah, because if we can get audio of you playing a game, then we can get audio of you watching the video too.
Yeah. It should be fun. We'll sort that out.
All right, but for real, okay, yeah, next week.
February, 2 months, a month and a half. This should be done. They're putting up drywall starting tomorrow, so it's getting everything's starting to get moving pretty good.
Cool. Yeah, we need to talk after this, I guess, about what next week's going to look like. But yeah, we do have a big list of stuff that we want to talk about. And if you join the Discord, we're open to ideas. So there's actually a channel in there about streaming topics. So if there's something that you want us to talk about or that you have some input in and you want to be part of a discussion, then drop it in there and we can add your comments from the chat into the discussion for sure. I think the big takeaway for me is for the conversation is that we do have, everybody has accomplishments. Everybody on the call and in the chat and who are going to watch later, you have accomplishments. Your year was hard probably for a lot of reasons that we don't even know about, but write down some accomplishments and some positive things that happen, and hopefully you can find some encouragement from doing that. But
yeah, I agree. I think it'd be good to hear from people. See what the accomplishments are as well. To
can try to close it up once the Twitch stream is going again.
And we're back. Yeah, so we'll close it up
All
here.
right.
Um,
Yeah. Finding someone for us to raid.
yeah, that's what I was gonna do. I'm actually was typing in who to raid, and then it decided to drop my internet. My wife probably got on Netflix and stuff. I'll go ahead and start the raid. So we're gonna go raid JC. I think he's playing some Genshin Impact or something. But good dude. Go over there, follow him, say hi, let him know we sent you, and we will catch you guys on the flip side. As long as I can
Yep,
find the
we'll
thing
see you
now.
next week.
Yep, that's the 6th. Unless you're going to also see us on the 5th, the St. Charles user group on meetup.com.
My raid now button went away, so that's fun. Just raid, let go. It's making me wait for the timeout because I think it's because we just restarted the channel, and it's like you can't just start a channel and raid. It's fair.
Oh.
I'm assuming that's the only reason it's doing that. I think it has like 20 seconds, but I will go check him out, and we will see you guys next week. So see y'all.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.